So, last week, we finished Mortal Kombat Chaos Reigns, right? We finished that bad boy up, one stream, one and done, pump and dump, right? We did that. It was a time. And now we're gonna talk about it. Now that I have had the weekend and a few days to just kind of like a few business days to really just let that bad boy sink in, I can get my thoughts out there now, okay? So let's talk about it. The Mortal Kombat 1 Chaos Reigns review. Then we're gonna wrap up the lore board, and then we're gonna watch the endings for Cyrax, Sector, and for Noob Saibot. So let's get into it. All right, so some quick stats. We started this on September 27th, and we finished it same day. Took us just one stream to finish, obvi. It took us 4 hours, 1 minute, and 58 seconds to play through the game, play through the DLC, but I also included the animalities when we were ranking the animalities, so that is part of this calculation. And I did not take any notes during this. I did not take any notes. There's not a whole lot of lore for me to sink my teeth into, unfortunately. So, let's talk about some of the best parts of it. Some of the best parts in the Chaos Reigns DLC is that the cinematography for this, really shined through, right? There were some really stunning parts, really beautiful moments in the story that kind of stick with me a little bit, and I appreciate that. The dragon scene is one of them. I think that the beginning of the wedding scene with Raiden officiating, super duper cute. I love that. And yeah, that's it. And that's all the scenes that stand out to me. The stage designs are really cool too. I really enjoy how Havoc Citadel looks. I appreciate how the marketplace looks. All of it just looks really interesting. And the Colosseum is like a staple in the Mortal Kombat retinue, right? And so it's cool to see like Havoc's take on that. So that's also really cool. And I enjoy the variations that Mortal Kombat has introduced to some of the existing stages, right? Really well designed there, really well designed. Another thing that I really enjoyed were Sector, Cyrax, and Noob Saibot. There is a lot of discourse about them. Some of it real problematic, some of it, hey, a little racist, hey, some of it, a little sexist, I'm not gonna lie, hey, it's there, it's existing, you know? For me personally, I enjoyed the redesigns. I think it puts it into it puts a really nice black backdrop on on the themes of these characters, right? I believe that Cyrax has a lot to do with doubting the status quo, right? Her character has a lot to do with that throughout the series, and it's really nice to see that like so starkly, for that to be like an ever-present part of her character. And with Sector kind of introducing that same doubt that Cyrax has, it's also really super duper interesting. Sector is never that character. Sector is the dogmatic one between the two, and it is so cool to see Sector kind of like slowly but surely, but not really getting there, thinking about not leaving behind, but like doubting the Lin Kuei. Very cool stuff. And with Noob, I love this idea. I saw some people not liking this, but I love this idea of him not being a being from hell, right? He's not some being from hell, someone resurrected by Quan Chi to serve him. No, he is a person corrupted by madness, by chaos instead. And I think that is a really cool idea. I really appreciate that. So kudos on that. Also, final thing that I really liked about this is a redesign that came with the update, which is there is now an Invasions arcade ladder. So you can earn the endings through your Invasions loadout. And I really liked that. That's how I got the endings for the 3 that we're gonna watch today, but I really appreciated that. All right. Good parts aside, all that good, right? Keep that in mind. I am a Mortal Kombat fan. I'm gonna caveat this to death because I am a Mortal Kombat fan, but I'm gonna sound like I'm not. Here we go. That story was dog shit, dude. I hated that story. That story was a string of cliched tropes that made no sense put together. That felt like putting two puzzle pieces from different puzzles together. Like, I was actually quite shocked at how incoherent and how, like, cliche that story was, you know? Not that I'm saying that fighting games have like the most, heart-wrenching stories ever, right? I'm not going to a fighting game expecting like everything everywhere all at once. I'm not. But there was something different about the way that this story was told that was just so not it. It relied so much on these cheesy moments that you've seen in like other shows. And in other shows, they are so profound. They're profound moments. But it didn't feel earned here. Like, the whole doubt between Cyrax and Scorpion made zero sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's obvious that Cyrax was lied to the entire time. Harumi says that. They did the whole reveal there that Cyrax was lied to. And Scorpion cannot find it in himself to be at least a little sympathetic about that. That boggled my mind a little bit, right? Another one that boggled my mind a little bit was, why did Scorpion go off to Titan Havoc's realm, right, to his timeline, with Sector and Cyrax, and not people that he trusted more? He said specifically, why do I have to go with them? Why can't I go alone? You don't have to go alone. Take Johnny with you. Take Kung Lao, Raiden. Take one of these losers with you, you know what I mean? And they didn't come up with an explanation as to why they couldn't go, and instead they had to bring these technically prisoners of war with him to the realm. I don't know. It made no sense to me. This thing had so many plot holes. There was these moments where they were trying to make like this be like, oh, this moment is going to be so satisfying, but it was not earned. It's just such a cheap and not really well written plot. And on top of that, it's dull and it's too short. Most of the fights in this are like palette swatches that you have faced in different invasion seasons, right? A lot of these fights they mean nothing. They mean nothing. And quite honestly, the whole thing was just too short for a $60 bundle, you know? Too short for that. So on top of that, Havoc as a villain was also just a run-of-the-mill villain, you know what I mean? Quite honestly, Havoc inspires in me this idea of like something like a Joker-like villain, you know what I mean? Someone really twisted, someone who's so unpredictable and just, this is the kind of man who like, leaves dead animals outside of trailers, you know what I mean? That's what I imagine like a Havoc being. But somehow, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi were both crazier, were both more chaotic than Havoc was in this entire DLC. He just felt like a run-of-the-mill villain. The craziest thing Havoc did was just laugh crazily. He's a villain twisting his mustache while a little lady is tied to the train tracks, you know? That's what he feels like. He's just a cliched villain. Next point is, I wish that the Towers of Time was still better. I think that one of the things Mortal Kombat 11 did really well was that it made the Towers of Time in that so worth it. So super duper worth it. Because the Towers of Time there, you earned gear, you earned new outfits, even though they were palette swatches, but you earned that and it was cool. But in this one, you don't earn any of that. You earn like coins that maybe you can get a new skin or maybe you can get a new piece of gear. It's just so not worth it. And I don't want to spend my time playing through that for such little reward, you know what I mean? So that's why, like, in between invasion seasons, I end up just deleting the game and like re-downloading every time a new one comes up. And I am in love with the gameplay of this. I love playing Mortal Kombat, but there's just nothing for me to do as a single player. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. The next point that I have, the final point that I have, is that it is so disappointing because, as you said, it is a $60 game bundle, the same price as the entire game now, and you're giving me palette swatches? Brother, you're giving me palette swatches? If I am paying $60 for your DLC, every single character that you put into the story mode better be like a new outfit that I have never seen before, right? And you give me only a handful of those. The majority of the skins you introduced are palette swatches. That, by the way, I already have because you put them out in a different season. You're telling me the $60 bundle that I paid for, you could earn the costumes in that in a free invasion season? Come on, come on. It just seemed so lazy to me. So lazy and such a, like, I felt stolen from, to be frank with you. So it just felt so unsatisfactory, if I'm being honest. I don't know, it just feels unacceptable. Unacceptable for the price point that it is. If it was like 20 bucks, I would be less upset about it, but this is 60 buckaroonies, brothers and sisters. This is 60 buckaroonies. Anyway, that's my critique of that. Let's go to something a little bit more positive, okay? Before I rant some more. My favorite character in the entire story, though, is Miss Empress Tanya, right? Tanya really shined in this. Tanya and Sector, I think, really shined in this DLC. They had some of the coolest scenes, they had some of the coolest arcs, the most cohesive arcs, the most comprehensible arcs, if I'm being honest with you. Like the dragon scene with the Tanya is really cool, the scenes with Sector, she really shined. Those two just really, really, like, the creme de la creme of this DLC. But my favorite character gameplay-wise that they introduced was Noob. Noob is super duper fun to play, and he's always super duper fun to play. There's a reason why people keep asking for him with every Mortal Kombat game. Noob is endlessly fun to play. And his DLCs look cool, and his fatalities look cool, his fatal blows look cool. Overall, just a really cool character. And like I said, I like the Khaos redesign. So, best story moment is this one. I think that the dragon scene, so pretty. It honestly feels like it doesn't fit in this entire thing because of how well done it is. And then you like drop back down onto Earth when you come back into the DLC. You know what I mean? It almost feels like it doesn't fit. I included the wildest plot hole because, like I said, this is crazy. It's crazy to me that, like, this is not even explained. They don't even broach this. You're bringing two prisoners of war with you on a really important timeline disrupting mission instead of, like, people that you know, people that you trust, people that have proven to be your ally, people that were at your wedding, and they didn't even give an explanation as to why they couldn't join you. It just the brain. Why? Final thoughts. As you can tell, like, for me, as a fan of not just the gameplay but like the story of Mortal Kombat as well, I know that I'm not expecting like an Oscar-winning masterpiece, right? I don't expect to finish a Mortal Kombat game and to come out of it just like thinking about the themes of like how society treats the upper class versus the lower class. I don't expect any of that. I didn't go in with that expectation. But this story was so lazy. It was just so lazily written that it kind of just pisses me off. It pisses me off to think about. It's just a bunch of cliches. It's just a bunch of like same old stuff. And nothing feels earned, nothing feels like ramped up to, you know what I mean? It's just like one moment from the next to the next, and in between are filler fights where you fight palette swatches. That's what it felt like, and to me, that's really disappointing. Coupling that with the $60 bundle price point, even though it comes with all of these characters, yeah, not worth it, brother. Wait for it to come out as a complete pack. right? Wait for it to come out as a complete pack and buy it, the entire thing, at like $30, right? Game and DLCs and both combat packs. Wait for it to drop down to like $30, $25, to be honest. But if you want to buy it now, I suggest I think the price point that I would put this at, to be honest with you guys, is like $25 to $20. It's within that price range. I think that's what this bundle should have been. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. I feel, quite frankly, like as a Mortal Kombat fan, insulted by the price point and just a lot about this. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It's genuinely upsetting. You know what I mean? Like after this, I am still a Mortal Kombat fan. And I'm gonna tell you this right now too. On top of that, I was not into the whole like online gaming drama, right? There's a huge drama out there with the crossplay and like people getting disconnected as they try to play this game. Sorry, I'm sorry. That sucks. But I wasn't even into that, right? I wasn't like in that world because I don't play Mortal Kombat Online at all. I'm speaking as a single player, and so for me, this is where I'm like one of my first like red flags where I go, wow, this is, God, this is disappointing. A really, really disappointing entry. And to compare it to the DLC that came out in Mortal Kombat 11 of the same scale, the one in 11 was infinitely better than this one. Infinitely. At least that one, it wasn't just a bunch of cliches. That one, the story was at least like made sense. This one, it did not. It did not. Much to my chagrin. When I finished this game, I gave it a 4 out of 10, right? Or not game, the DLC. I gave it a 4 out of 10, right? So I give the story a 2 out of 10. It would have gone down to a 1 out of 10, but like I said, some of those moments just really stuck with me. They were really pretty. Some of the cinematography was just really pretty. So I bumped it up for that. Empress Tanya saved it from a 1 out of 10. So it's a 2 out of 10 story for me. Gameplay, 3 out of 10. They didn't really introduce anything new to it, and I would have liked something new introduced to the gameplay, you know, something interesting. Like I said, animalities don't count because they are not part of the DLC. And so I would have liked to see something new introduced, something new or something interesting introduced to the gameplay of Mortal Kombat, playing through the story mode. So, but they didn't do that, so I still enjoyed the gameplay. Also, I don't like how many useless, meaningless fights there are in this. The palette swatch fights are all useless. So, yeah, that's what brought it down to a 3 out of 10. Ambience, 5 out of 10. Okay, it's a decent attempt at it. I think they could have done more. I think they could have gone farther. The craziest thing that they had in this entire DLC was a giant snail. In the ambiance that they were trying to create, like, oh, Havoc's world, it's a lawless world where anything can happen. It's crazy. And like all you got was like a giant snail. So yeah, that was wild. So I think that the design was good. I just think they could have gone farther with it. Babalities, I'm happy with the animalities, to be honest. Like, but I said that just doesn't count because that's not part of the DLC. That's not part of the bundle at all. It's a free update. Personal enjoyment, 3 out of 10. Like I said, this story slogged on at some points, and it was just a lot. And like, after like the initial like excitement about the 3 new characters, it's like, okay, cool. So what do I rate this overall? What is my overall rating now after a week? It has gone from a 4 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10. Golly gee, this was a lot. This was an experience. I think that the story is akin to a Dynasty Warriors story. No offense. I'm just disappointed. I'm just very disappointed by it. Community score though is a 4 out of 10. If you are on our Discord, you can vote on what you rate the games that we play. This is the accumulative score that we have in our Discord, and it is a 4 out of 10. You guys voted. Y'all were a little kinder than me. Let's go watch some endings, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll call it a day. Like I said, I earned all these endings, but I have not watched them yet. Oh, also I finished the invasion season, and that was cool. That was a decent invasion season. Nothing new, nothing super duper new in that. Negative 100 out of 10. Uh-oh. All right, let's do. Look at all these. So actually, before we do that, I forget. Here's our Mortal Kombat lore board, by the way. Let me introduce this first. I just added like everything that happened to the story, right? I have a prediction that Orin and Onaga in the future for Mortal Kombat are going to be connected somehow. These two dragons, right? Onaga is the Dragon King of Mortal Kombat. I'm hoping that he comes back and that him and Orin maybe they're lovers. I don't know, but that's my prediction. I don't have anything to back that up. That's just purely based on vibes. Daenerys? I'm sorry, I don't understand Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. Here's our endings tier list, by the way. And here are the DLC characters that we have yet to watch. Let's see. So, from my understanding, the characters that are like canon to Mortal Kombat, they are canon. But these ones, Omni-Man's is not canon, by the way. Omni-Man's ending is not canon. The cast characters are not canon, but the Mortal Kombat characters are. So let's see them. I have seen Combat Pack 1, but I did not rank them. All right, we're gonna do that together.
Desperate to avoid defeat, Titan Shang Tsung had stolen me from my timeline to set me against Liu Kang. He assumed a Viltrumite would shift combat in his favor.
Hell yeah.
Shang Tsung was right, of course, but he was blinded by ambition and failed to consider that my only true loyalty is to the Viltrum Empire.
My boy.
Home timeline, my mission to pacify Earth for Viltrum had been left incomplete. I thought I could redeem myself by delivering this new timeline. New realms, new species, all ours for the taking. For a few years, annexing realms satisfied the Empire's hunger for conquest.
For a few years.
My people have excellent memory. I knew sooner or later we would return to our own timeline, to Earth.
Mark Grayson. Such a handsome young man.
I only hope my son has had time enough to prepare.
Mark Grayson? Hell yeah. Okay, that was decent. Let's watch 3 and then we'll go rank.
Though Ermac had freed me from my Legion cell.
Now why would Ermac free you?
No less imprisoned. I had no allies, no benefactor, and no obvious path back to power. And power is what I crave. But why should I settle for the scant abilities of someone who is an underling sorcerer? I should be the one who controls history, who bends people.
Is he wearing short shorts?
I should control the hourglass and wield it as the keeper of time.
Then you should have been in the other game, Quan Chi.
I further master the dark magic needed to destroy Liu Kang.
Look at his tower.
Damn! But it will be worth it. For when I succeed, I will achieve omnipotence.
That was kind of lame. That was kind of a lame thing. He got broken out of prison. Cool. I've done that.
Project Starfish? Project Butterfly? Crazy Town. Both of them. But neither was as fucked up as Project Magician. I was way over my head with Eclipse. I mean, the dude's a goddamn god. Somehow, though, I got his back to the wall. Freaked him out so bad, he cast a spell that sent me here. I guess he thought sending me here would finish me? But I tell you, I feel like I've come home.
I know the way to finish you.
This place needs peace. Bad. And like me, folks here will do whatever it takes to get it.
His face.
Shao, Reiko, and those dickhead sorcerers. I'll drop them all first chance I get.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. It would have been funnier if that was John Cena that they transported instead. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I think both Peacemaker and Quan Chi both deserve to be D tier. That was pretty bad endings. Not gonna lie, that was pretty bad endings. With Omni-Man though, I'm willing to be kind. I'm willing to be a little kind, okay? A little, you know, him destroying all the realms. Okay, pretty good. B tier, I think. B tier. All right, Ermac.
For a moment, Jared took control.
Me.
Fixed the damage which had allowed him and reimposed our collective will. But the damage went further than we thought. Without Quan Chi's aid, the spell which birthed us would fail.
That is actually interesting.
All of our souls.
So that's why he wasn't at the DLC.
We freed the sorcerer from
Interesting.
But after healing us, he betrayed us. He schemed.
So he did lose control.
Slave once again. Combat was fierce, yet we persisted.
Hell yeah, Sindel.
Strength in the unique abilities of our collected souls. Now we must decide our future path. Reconciling our desires will be difficult, but reconcile.
Interesting. It'd be interesting to see good guy Ermac happen regardless of
Will be consumed.
regardless of Jared ruling the Ermac body. That would be interesting. That is a fascinating inquiry. All right, Mr. Homelander, what's up?
How many times have I saved them? I give and give and give, but no, I laser a few measly innocent bystanders, and suddenly they're all, "What have you done for me lately?" I guess they forgot there's only one true justice in this world.
I am better. I am better.
But of course, that was before things got weird. Gotta admit, a portal from another dimension opening up and demons pouring out wasn't how I thought Tuesday was gonna go. But again, that multiverse crap is all the rage lately. So who knows?
Homelander gets me.
The same ungrateful crybabies who whined about me lasering a few dozen nobodies, now they beg me to save them. So I save the world again. I mean, it's my world. Can't let a bunch of demons disrespect me. After I finished them off, their portal or whatever was still open, which could only mean one thing: sequel. I went in the damn glowy hole, and what did I discover? Another realm with a tournament where gods and monsters fight to the death. It was like Vauntland, but just for me. Honestly, I only wish I'd known about this place sooner, because I've had the time of my life.
Fascinating, 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 fascinating. I think that let me wait till we get to the ranking.
To kill a snake, you cut off its head. Or in the Yakuza's case,
My husband Takeda.
heads. Kenshi said I couldn't do it. But he didn't know what I knew. that the family's bosses were meeting to talk shop and settle disputes.
Can't believe the Yakuza are like a huge part of the story now.
Decapitate them all.
Cannot believe.
As I nursed whiskey and negotiated, I waited. My moment came, then was cut short when a fiery portal opened. Out of it stepped men I'd never seen before. And from the
This is a cool cameo though.
I could tell
These
they were the
dudes.
ones really in charge. Listening in, I learned they run the Red Dragon, an ancient.
And it's a cool way to introduce the Red Dragon to the story.
Families. I could crush the Yakuza, but these Red Dragon would simply replace it. Probably with something even worse. I'm facing a powerful new enemy in my war on the underworld. One I never saw coming. And I've got to finish them. Or die trying.
Homelanders was fine. Not as good as Omni-Man's. I really like Takeda's, and I gotta say I'm a little biased here because Takeda's, you know, there was the Yakuza, the Red Dragon. That was pretty sick. That was pretty sick. That was pretty sweet. But Ermax though, hell yeah. Ermax is really interesting. There's a lot of really good lore stuff in there with Jared like losing control, him freeing Quan Chi, but also like potential of good guy Ermac regardless of who's in control. I don't know. I'm kind of into that. All right, I have not seen these ones at all.
Liang had accepted me as a Shirairyu. Many of his warriors could not. The bloodshed at the wedding had left many injured and scarred. Their hearts understandably simmered in bitterness. It boiled over one day as we trained. A push became a shove, and suddenly I was fighting for my life.
Oh, damn.
After he intervened, Kuai Liang banished the instigators. It made me ill, how my presence was disrupting the clan. It was no way to repay Kuai Liang's mercy.
I mean, I kind of get it. Sad though.
So, I offered to resign and asked for those who attacked me to be reinstated. But instead of ending my time with the Shirairyu, my gesture heralded a new beginning.
Aw.
It gave those still resentful of me pause. Enough for them to permit me a fair chance to prove myself. Given the circumstances, it is all I can ask.
I think it's cool. Sounds good, Garcia. I think it's cool that Cyrax is now like Shirai Ryu. I don't know. That's a really like Cyrax's attempts to like leave the Link Way have always been aborted by some reason or other. But for Cyrax to finally be able to leave, for her to finally achieve that, for the character to finally achieve that, really cool thematic close. I appreciate that.
As I regained consciousness, I regained my memories. My transformation into a creature of chaos. My defeat of Titan Havoc. And my failed confrontation of Liu Kang. Sector was obsessed with finding the means to purge my soul of Titan Havoc's corruption. She was shocked when I told her she should do no such thing.
Interesting, he stayed.
Infusing my soul with chaos did not damage me. It enriched me.
This pose is really funny.
Using randomness
I know.
and chance,
Jack Garland is
I have unlocked vast
beating his
powers.
screen right now.
My combat is
Oh my god!
more formidable and
Hydro?
dramatically more lethal.
Is that Blaze, I think?
Gave me these gifts to use in fomenting his chaos. Instead, I will use them to fight for the Lin Kuei.
Fascinating.
The Shaolin, my brother and his clan, will yield
Damn.
terror
Kung Lao, R.I.P.
by my perfection.
That was cool. I can appreciate that. That was cool. Alright, Miss Sector.
Though I had returned
Mama.
to Titan Havoc's defeat, I remained livid. livid with Bihan's foolishness, Kuai Liang's betrayal, and Cyrax's defection to his Shirai Ryu. So when Quan Chi arrived to parley, offering to eliminate the upstart clan, I listened. For his services, Quan
damn.
Chi asked that I retrieve an amulet that was locked
Oh my
away
God,
in
the
Temple of
amulet!
Elements. No small task, given its wards and guardians. The one worth undertaking, if it would finish the Lin Kuei's rivals. But before I could find the amulet, I found Bihan. There he was, imprisoned and forgotten, when Liu Kang had promised to restore him. As I rescued Bihan, all thought of retrieving Quan Chi's treasure was quickly
Interesting.
forgotten. I will never forgive Liu Kang for this betrayal. That he is a god will not stop me from seeking vengeance.
That's interesting. There's a lot of really good story stuff in these two, in both Noob and Sectors. This really intrigues me to see like what they're gonna do with this, right? Which I hope they do something with it. But it intrigues me to see what they might do with this rage. The fact that Noob Saibot was just forgotten instead of like restored. Very interesting. This war against the Shirai Ryu and the Lin Kuei is going to get really, really interesting should the series go on. So, yeah. Cyrax 1 was alright, I think. Yeah, that was kind of a dick move on Liu Kang's part. To be honest, Ultima, yeah, that was kind of a dick move on Liu Kang's part. Mr. Noob Saibot and Sector, I think they're fantastic. Fantastic endings. But Sector's edges out Noob's because of her twist, the twisty twist, the twist of the nipple. And then Cyrax was pretty good too. I would say that that deserves an A, I think. That deserves an A. That feels good in my heart.